Today I'm going to talk about Battle of France, May 10 to June 25, 1940. Here's the background and strategic context in France's side. Following the invasion of Poland in September 1939, a period of relative military inactivity known as the Phony War settled over Western Europe. Britain and France had declared war on Germany, but neither side launched significant offensives. France, in particular, relied heavily on the Maginot Line, a series of fortifications along its eastern border with Germany, believing it would prevent a direct invasion. Allied planners anticipated that if Germany attacked, it would repeat its World War I strategy, a push through Belgium. German strategy, Fall Gelb, case yellow. The German High Command, under Adolf Hitler, initially considered a similar plan. However, after several revisions, a bold and unorthodox strategy emerged from General Erich von Manstein. Instead of attacking through central Belgium where the Allies were strongest, the Germans would conduct a feint attack there to draw Allied forces northward. The real blow would come through the Ardennes forest, a region the Allies believed was too dense and rugged for a major mechanized army. Let's look at the timeline for the battle. May 10, 1940, Germany launched coordinated invasions of Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Paratroopers and fast-moving ground units quickly overwhelmed Dutch and Belgian forces. May 12 to 14, German panzer divisions under Heinz Guderian crossed the Meuse River at Sedan after pushing through the Ardennes. The French line collapsed as German forces exploited the gap with extreme speed. May 20, German armor reached the English Channel near Abbeville, cutting off the British Expeditionary Force, BEF, and large French units in northern France and Belgium. May 26 to June 4, the BEF, along with thousands of French troops, conducted a massive evacuation from Dunkirk in Operation Dynamo. Despite Luftwaffe attacks, over 330,000 troops were saved, although heavy equipment was abandoned. June 5 to 14, Germany launched Fall Rot, Case Red, a second phase of the offensive aimed at conquering the rest of France. Paris fell on June 14 without major resistance. June 22, France signed an armistice with Germany in the same railway carriage where Germany had signed the 1918 armistice. France was divided, the north and west came under German occupation, and the Vichy regime controlled the south. June 25, the ceasefire came into effect. The result: 1. A complete German victory. France, a major European power, fell in just 6 weeks. 2. Over 2 million French soldiers were taken prisoner. 3. The British had narrowly avoided total disaster by evacuating their forces at Dunkirk. Now let's give the battle a deep review and strategic analysis in some degree. A collapse of doctrine and planning. The Battle of France is often seen as a case study in strategic failure. Despite having more tanks and comparable numbers of troops, the French and British forces were outmaneuvered and outclassed by superior German tactics. The French military was still operating under World War I doctrines, with static defense, rigid command structures, and poor coordination between infantry and armor. French divisions were slow to mobilize, lacked strategic reserves near critical areas, and often failed to act decisively. German blitzkrieg and innovation. The German doctrine of blitzkrieg emphasized speed, coordination, and psychological shock. Fast-moving tank divisions supported by dive bombers, Stukas, disrupted French rear areas, destroyed communication lines, and caused mass confusion. German forces used radios in every tank, allowing dynamic and real-time coordination, while many French tanks had no radios at all. This gave German commanders superior situational awareness and tactical flexibility. The use of paratroopers and glider-borne troops to seize key infrastructure, e.g., bridges, airfields, in Belgium was a groundbreaking tactic that demonstrated Germany's emphasis on surprise and precision. Operational success factors. Surprise through the Ardennes. German planners correctly assumed the Allies would not expect a large mechanized force to pass through the Ardennes. This gamble paid off spectacularly, catching the French completely unprepared. Rapid maneuver. German panzers did not stop after breaking through. They bypassed strongpoints, raced to the coast, cut supply lines, and encircled enemy formations. This constant forward momentum disoriented Allied forces. Allied misjudgments. The Allies committed their best forces to northern Belgium, where they were encircled. There was little flexibility or effective counterattack once the German thrust unfolded. Communications between British and French commands were poor, and decisions were often delayed until it was too late. Political collapse. French morale and political unity collapsed quickly under the weight of defeat. Leadership was indecisive, and the sudden fall of Paris added to the psychological shock. The French political class was divided between those who wanted to continue the fight and those who sought an armistice. Ultimately, the establishment of the collaborationist Vichy government marked a dramatic shift in French national identity and political alignment, creating long-lasting internal tensions. Deeper strategic implications. The speed and completeness of the German victory shocked the world. It ended the illusion that the Maginot Line could protect France and prove the concept of modern, fast-paced mechanized warfare. The evacuation at Dunkirk preserved the core of the British Army, allowing the UK to continue the war. This would prove crucial in later Allied operations. The loss of France meant that Britain now stood alone in Western Europe, prompting preparations for the Battle of Britain. It galvanized British resolve and changed Winston Churchill's political standing at home and abroad. Germany's conquest of Western Europe without significant resistance provided a dangerous overconfidence within the Nazi regime and helped justify the ill-fated decision to invade the Soviet Union in 1941. The battle also reshaped military thought across the world. Blitzkrieg became a case study in military academies, influencing Cold War doctrines on both sides. It highlighted the need for mobility, integrated air-ground tactics, and fast decision-making at the operational level. Finally, we should learn some lessons from the Battle of France. 1. Mobility and speed beat static defense. The Maginot Line, though formidable, was bypassed. Static defenses are only effective if they are integrated with flexible mobile units that can respond to breakthroughs. 2. Doctrine must evolve with technology. German forces made innovative use of tanks, air power, and communications. French forces, in contrast, treated tanks as infantry support rather than independent shock forces. 3. Intelligence and flexibility are critical. Rigid command structures, as seen in the French army, lead to paralysis in fast-changing combat scenarios. 4. Psychological warfare and morale matter. The suddenness of the German advance and the fall of Paris had a devastating impact on French morale. Maintaining morale under pressure can be as decisive as battlefield strength. 5. Never underestimate an enemy's ingenuity. The belief that the Ardennes was impassable allowed Germany to exploit a fatal weakness. Strategic assumptions must always be challenged and reassessed. 6. Political unity and leadership are key to national defense. France's fragmented leadership and lack of a clear, unified response hastened its collapse. National defense requires more than military readiness. It needs strong, decisive leadership in times of crisis. The Battle of France was not merely a military defeat but a geopolitical earthquake that reshaped Europe. Its legacy is one of rapid conquest through innovation, and of the dangers of preparing for the last war instead of the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you next time. Bye bye.